So you want to learn a language to perfection, knowing pretty much all the grammar rules, having no words that you don't recognize when you are in a conversation. You want to crack jokes and understand podcasts about politics and philosophy in your target language, and you want to see how that all of that is done from this one YouTube video. Well, I cannot tell you how it's done. I cannot tell you in one video how you need to do that. But what I can do is I can show you how I'm studying Persian throughout 3 years and exactly what I do. This is my Persian plan, and I studied so far for 297.4 hours, so almost 300, even though my plan was to reach 300 already at the end of 2022. Now, the last update, I told you how it went until the end of January. So let's start at the 1st of February. Here I listened to Farsi for about 40 minutes, and I discovered a new podcast that I really like. So first I listened to Farsi for 40 minutes, and I listened to the audio of this book. I'm using this book to study vocabulary, and then I discuss it with my tutor on italki. The link to his profile will be in the description. And we try to do 2 weeks per chapter. So that means in more or less 4 weeks I will be done with this complete book. And what we do typically is just question and answer. So he asks questions, I answer, and the other way around. And this of course completely in Farsi. Then I download the audios and the vocabulary onto my phone, and I listen to them in the metro. For example, I listened to Farsi for about 40 minutes. Then I was listening in the metro to the audios of this book. And then here, for example, the 3rd of February, I listened to Farsi in the morning and also on the way back home. And then I was listening these 2 weeks. I did lots of listening to the new podcast. So this podcast is called Learn Persian by Podcast. They are natural conversations between two people, completely in Persian as well. And sometimes some of the beginner episodes use a little bit of English to translate a particular expression or to give a little bit more context. But I tend to listen to the intermediate episodes, and I do not understand them completely, but I am picking up many words, and I'm listening to that always in the metro, okay? So if you are going to your work by car, train, metro, or walking, you have to use that time to study a language, okay? To listen to the language that you are learning. If you are not using that time to study your language, you're not taking it seriously, okay? It is the classic moment. It is the perfect polyglot moment. You don't want to talk to people anyway because you just woke up. After your work, when you're going home, you probably also do not really want to talk to people. Do that, okay? Make sure that colleagues are not talking to you. Just talk to them at work. Don't play with some stupid app. Don't do anything else than read or listen your target language, basically. End of my little motivational speech. Now, the next day, I had a good day. You see, green days are good days, red days are bad days. So today was a crazy day, I wrote. I worked out in the morning by running to the physiotherapist, and later I gave classes, because I'm a Dutch teacher, and later I met up with my Persian friend Semya. I met her here in the local hub of the neighborhood. We met up here to eat some soup, and we tried to speak Persian the whole time. It was a big struggle, but the whole moment was beautiful, okay? Very cultural moment, sitting on the ground, like true Iranians, eating Iranian soup that she made, and just chatting in person. It was beautiful. The next days, you see, I was just listening to the podcast for 50 minutes, 40 minutes, 0 minutes, okay? On day 399, 401. Oh, sorry, here I packed my bags to go to Spain. And why I did 40 minutes here is because I was listening to Persian in the plane to Spain, okay? That's where my girlfriend lives, and we fly back and forth. She will come to live here probably very soon. So that's why the next day I didn't do anything. 0 minutes because I spent my time with her, of course. Next day I listened to the podcast again. Next day I didn't do anything. And next day again, I listened to the podcast in the afternoon, in the morning and the afternoon. And then in the evening something amazing happened. I walked past a Persian supermarket and I decided to go in. There was an Iranian man there, and we spoke about Persian restaurants in Holland, all in Persian, okay? It was the first conversation I had where I felt completely confident and I understood everything he said. It was probably because of the topic, because I had listened to all the podcast episodes about restaurants, like right before. So I was completely ready for this conversation. It was beautiful. And some other people in the supermarket were pretty impressed. That really motivated me, So 2 two great experiences with true Persian people in 1 week. So that's what I'm doing it for, right? Okay, next day, listening to some Persian on the bike. Next day, I listened to a bit of Persian in the metro, but then life happened. There was no bus, so I had to find another way to get home, and therefore had to make some calls and stuff. In the end, I only listened to a little bit of Persian in the morning. That was really annoying because I had to take a taxi with somebody else, share the taxi, call the taxi, so lots of hassle in the morning. I like chill mornings. So I was a bit demotivated. Next day I was tired. Next day I studied a beautiful song, Afsane, which means fairy tales, entirely, and I tried singing along. Here's the song. Afsane Hanist. Beautiful song, and I translated it entirely, word by word. Or actually, what I did is I first checked the translation to get some sense of it, listened to it a couple of times, copied it first, translated it word by word. I wrote down the English words below the right Farsi words, and then I tried to figure out how the sentence was actually put together. Then I listened to it again, I tried singing along, etc. And then you can see that actually 4 days later, the 16th, I translated the song again, and I had forgotten pretty much everything. Okay, crazy how fast you forget the words. I now go to the hospital for the last checkup. I wrote here with my shoulder. On the bicycle, I will listen to Persian. So that's what I write here. I will listen to Persian, but I didn't. I called my girlfriend actually. That's what you have with a long distance relationship. It uses up all your precious time. But it's worth it anyway. Marta, it was worth it if you're watching. And then you can see here, all the way from the second from the first day actually when I discovered the podcast, all the way to the 17th. I've just been listening to this podcast the whole time, and I had only one day over here, day 409, where I actually studied the dialogues and the text in chapter 7 of Persian in Use. Sorry for my misspellings in the thing. It's just that my Excel's in Dutch, so it's just auto-correcting things. I've just been listening, and I didn't do a lot of reading and writing, except for studying this one song. And then the next day, when I studied it again, as you can see here, these are all the words that I forgot again. So I forgot many, many words, but that's okay. I just keep studying the song every once in a while until I can really get a hold of it. And then I'm gonna sing it with karaoke entirely, of course. Maybe I will show you that if I feel like it. Okay, then here, the 15th of February, I listened to lots of Persian using the Spotify Learn podcast. I listened to mostly the intermediate stories, like I told you, and I do not even understand 50% is my guess. That's something I still wanted to tell you. I right now I understand 50%, and that's completely okay. So if you're listening to stuff and you only understand a bit, that's really fine. It's more important that you actually listen to it than that you understand it. Okay, so it's the act of listening that will make you learn, not just the understanding, if that makes sense. So it's really, really, really important to find this time, these moments in your day where you just listen to the language, and then it will come. Okay. Now, of course, on the side, it makes a lot of sense to do classes, talk to people, read, do exercises, all of that. But just listening to things is so easy. You can do it throughout the day, and you should really do it if you're serious about learning your language. Now, sometimes I listen to the beginner stories and I understand more than 90%. So I really am like an A2. So I really think I am a bad A2 in Persian. So I can have basic conversations with people that speak in the accent that I understand. So the dialect, let's say, from northern Iran, I understand best because I just listen to people from there mostly. If they have some other accent, I will not understand anything. If they use words from topics that I haven't studied, I will not understand anything. I am not able to guess the meaning of words from context in a conversation, not at all. My tutor online on italki is really struggling to make me understand everything he says. So I'm a bad A2, and just doing lots and lots of listening and studying many words will get me to B1. I'm sure about that. So I'm going to keep doing this, and I hope that I showed you a little bit of what it really takes to learn a language. If you enjoy these kind of videos, please like and subscribe. If you're still watching, I think I deserve it. Let me know if you have any tips, advice, comments about your own language learning. Then please keep me up to date about your process as well. And I will see you when I speak a better Persian.